More on the Flames, man. The coach we all love and adore, Darryl Sutter. Things aren't going too well for Darryl and the Flames, and he doesn't look. And it's pretty obvious because he's pretty vocal about how things aren't going very well. I know you, Darryl Sutter fires you up, Bruno. How are you feeling about Darryl Sutter today?
Lepore, thank you so much for bringing this up because I have a lot to get off my chest and a lot to unpack here. Okay. So everyone knows how we feel about the Flame situation and Darryl Sutter. We didn't like the hiring at the time. Let me just go over the current situation with the Calgary Flames. Okay. So they were 11-11-2 under Jeff Ward. They were clearly a very mediocre hockey team. They didn't have an identity. They weren't terrible, but they were struggling and changes needed to be made, okay? So you have Brad Treliving, who essentially did not do any sort of coaching search, Lepore. He didn't go out there and do some extensive coaching search. He fires Jeff Ward and immediately brings in Darryl Sutter and signs him to a 3-year deal, okay? This is a guy that hadn't coached in the NHL since 2017. And there were reports when he last coached in the NHL that he was literally locked out of the Kings dressing room because it got to a point that the players tuned him out and could not stand the way that he was essentially coaching the team. You can go check this out. There's an article on sportsnet.ca that goes over this situation with Darryl Sutter. So you have a guy that hasn't coached in the league since 2017. He's 62 years old. He's been enjoying life on his farm in Viking, Alberta. He comes in, and Flames Twitter and Flames fans, they love this move because they think about 2004, Darryl Sutter leading the Flames to the Stanley Cup final against the Tampa Bay Lightning, falling a game short. You know, everyone talks about Darryl Sutter getting the best out of his players, and, you know, there isn't a better man for the job. Well, guess what, Flames fans? And listen, I know that they beat the Edmonton Oilers 5-0 on Saturday night to snap their losing streak, but they are now 6-9 under Darryl Sutter with a -7 goal differential. And all this talk about Darryl Sutter getting the most out of his players, that simply isn't true, because let me run some numbers by everybody right now. Okay?
You can't prepare, eh, Bruno?
Johnny Gaudreau had 21 points in 24 games under Jeff Ward. He got off to a really good start this season. Okay, and I'm sure Flames fans remember Johnny Gaudreau was great to start the year. Under Darryl Sutter, he has 6 points in 15 games.
Fuck.
And his ice time is down almost 2 minutes per game.
I didn't even know about the points, but wow, okay.
6 points in 15 games under Darryl Sutter. Sean Monahan, okay? As I look at the numbers right now, Michael Lepore, 17 points in 22 games under Jeff Ward. He also has 6 points in 15 games under Darryl Sutter, and his ice time has decreased by over a minute per game. Then let's go to Matthew Tkachuk, okay, who hasn't been normal Matthew Tkachuk that we've seen over the last 2 years. He struggled a little bit this season. His ice time, Lepore, is down 3 minutes and 45 seconds per game.
That's
from
surprising.
Jeff Ward to Darryl Sutter. Almost 4 minutes a game.
He's the one you think, I mean, typical Darryl Sutter would love.
That's like
but
the
anyway.
perfect Darryl Sutter player, right?
Yeah, what the fuck?
And while all this is happening, Darryl Sutter is playing Milan Lucic 2 minutes and 18 seconds more per game than he was getting under Jeff Ward.
That was my next question, because when you're saying all these, when you were listing these guys and their minutes going down, what was popping in my head was, well, then where are the minutes going? But you answered my question, at least partially.
So it's just so frustrating to me that I hear all these things, and Flames fans were so happy about Darryl Sutter, but you need to look at the results here. And where is this team headed? So back to Brad Treliving for a second. He has now hired 4 coaches in the last 5 years. Okay. So let's just go back a little bit. So he hired Glenn Gluttons. He only lasted a couple of seasons. Then he brings in Bill Peters, and Bill Peters led the Flames to the second best record in the NHL in 2019.
Seems like so long ago, when they went on that tear.
It's crazy.
It's weird, yeah.
And that was only a couple of years ago. Johnny Gaudreau had his best season under Bill Peters, 99 points. Matthew Tkachuk, Sean Monahan, they all had great seasons. Second best record in the NHL, number one seed in the Western Conference. We all know what happened with Bill Peters with the allegations of racism and assault. That didn't end well. So then he pivots and he brings in Jeff Ward as the interim coach, eventually makes him the full-time head coach. And the Flames were okay under Jeff Ward. They won a qualifying round series against the Jets, then lost to the Stars in the first round of the playoffs last year. And then this year, like I mentioned, has been incredibly mediocre. So when it comes to Brad Treliving, and I know I've been going on about this, but I really, really have to get this off my chest. Okay. He did not do anything when it comes to actually going out there and finding the right head coach for this job. Murray Edwards, the owner of the Calgary Flames and that ownership group, they love Darryl Sutter. They have a relationship with Darryl Sutter, like I said, going back to his time leading the Flames to the Cup final.
Yeah.
This was easy for Brad Treliving. Okay, he knows his neck is on the line, and I think this is a situation where he said, you know what? Ownership loves Darryl Sutter. He's a hard-nosed coach. Fuck it. I'm just going to bring him in and see what happens here because I have no more bullets left in the tank. So let me actually just bring in a coach that ownership absolutely adores.
So weird.
And Lepore, it just has not been going well. And I know they just beat Edmonton 5-0 last night, and maybe they can turn it around and finish the season strong. But here's one last thing I'll say. Everyone is talking about, well, Darryl Sutter came in now, and he's going to find out who can play Darryl Sutter hockey and who the Flames have to get rid of. But let me ask you this, Flames fans. Johnny Gaudreau has 1 year left on his contract after this year. Are you going to really...
Bruno. He's gone, Bruno. Yeah.
And I think he is too. But here's the thing. You're going to prioritize your 62-year-old head coach, Darryl Sutter, over your best offensive player, Johnny Gaudreau? You're going to prioritize a head coach over Johnny Gaudreau? So really, you're just going to get rid of Johnny Gaudreau and then you're going to get rid of Sean Monahan? And then what are you going to do? What the hell are you going to do, Calgary Flames fans? I just want you guys to think about this because is Johnny Gaudreau, can he be the best player on a championship team? No. But can he be the Phil Kessel to Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby? Can he be your third best player on a Stanley Cup winning team? I think he probably can, Lepore. This is a guy we've seen score 99 points and lead the Flames to the number one seed in the Western Conference.
Yeah, not too many guys in recent years have put up 99 points.
So the last thing I'm going to say is just Flames fans, you got to be very, very careful here. I know you love Darryl Sutter, and I know you want to play that Darryl Sutter brand of hockey, tight-nosed defensive game. Don't give up, scoring chances, and don't give up shots and win games 2-1. But at the end of the day, you have Johnny Gaudreau, Sean Monahan, Matthew Tkachuk, and Elias Lindholm. These are your core players. These are the guys you got to make happy, and these are the guys who are going to make your team successful moving forward. And tread very carefully here with how the Calgary Flames approach this situation. That's all I got to say.
It's funny, and I'll ask you, do you think this move was made to signify something larger than a coaching change? And when I say that, I mean a full-on culture change within the organization. Like when they brought in Darryl Sutter, did the Calgary Flames staff know we are going to move bodies? That this is just the wrong group of guys, talented or not, and we're going to change things here? Like I bring it similar to kind of like when the Leafs went through that transition when Burt came in. Is that you kind of knew like, hey, Antropov's gone, Ponikarovsky's gone. Like it just seemed like we felt like Brian Burke's going to make us like this rough and tumble team with truculence. I'd say truculence. You think maybe that there's a connection there? Like they knew what they were doing and kind of like they accepted it, saying this is not working. Like you said, how many coaches they've been through in this amount of years, that we're going to bring Darryl in to kind of change the culture here and build a team that he wants?
To answer your question, to a certain degree, yes, I do. But here's the issue is that if you're going to trade Johnny Gaudreau or let him walk, like who are you bringing in at that point?
Yeah, I guess that's that. Sorry, I guess that now that you said that, we didn't really have a player like that. I guess when we went through that culture change,
it's like it's like you're not going to get. It's either you got to blow it up at that point, as far as I'm concerned, because
you're trading away your best player.
Which free agents is this team going to attract, Lepore? Like, I don't see any big name star player picking the Calgary Flames and Darryl Sutter, who has now developed a reputation as, he's a hard guy to play for. He expects a lot. He doesn't necessarily let you play your freewheeling offensive game. And listen, do you have to play a tight defensive structure to win in the National Hockey League? Yes, you do. But at the end of the day, when you have players like Johnny Gaudreau or even, Patrick Laine and the situation he's dealing with in Columbus, you have to let these guys do what they do best. Yeah. Phil Kessel, who I brought up as well. Like, at the end of the day, if they are high skill players who can score goals and generate offense, you have to let them do that.
It's so fucking annoying. Yeah, they try to change them and all that. Like when you mentioned Laine, everyone's like, "Oh, he's not going to be able to play Torts' style." Who fucking cares? Let him go out there and score 30 goals. Like, oh my
Patrick
God!
Laine, for the love of God,
100%, man.
Same thing with and Phil Kessel. I think he was so successful in Pittsburgh because he didn't have the pressure of being the guy anymore. They weren't asking him to do things out of his comfort zone. They said, Phil, go out there and play with Crosby or Malkin, snipe your 30 goals, be that offensive star that you are. And I still like Johnny Gaudreau. Yes. Is he undersized and is he a little bit? Yeah, he's a little small. He's not the perfect, let's say, Darryl Sutter / playoff guy. Right. But this is a guy who, like I said, he has a 99-point season in the NHL. Those guys don't grow on trees.
It's so annoying with these player comparisons. Like, everyone, the best players are the guys who put up the points.
End of story.
Yeah, you get these comparisons and the playoffs and this and that and types of players. No, the guys who deserve the most money and the most important players are the guys who put up points. They always say the hardest thing to do in the NHL is score goals. Those are the guys. It doesn't matter. Scoring goals is hard. And then, but he's got to play this style. No, he doesn't. Pay a guy $1 million to do that. You need to score goals. And that's why it's so odd. And you mentioned them signing a free agent. Well, we're seeing by the shittiness of this upcoming trade deadline, there's not a lot of free agents to begin with worth talking about. So, I mean, that's sign number one. But I remember in one of our early episodes, we talked about the Flames. And we fired out a lot of compliments because things weren't going the greatest for them. But if I remember correctly, we went on rants about how this is the type of team, based on the talent they have, they could turn things around quickly.
Absolutely.
You had a guy, you had a piece here and there. This could be a good team. They have good young players teams want. And now you have this Darryl Sutter thing with the culture change, or as we're predicting that's the reason for this move, this culture change. And now it's gone from something that had a lot of potential in my eyes anyway, to something that now this feels like this is going to get blown up. And there's going to be a lot of takers for those guys. I mean, you Monahan, Kachuk, if they would get rid of all of them. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but there's a lot of pieces on Calgary people would come calling for if that's the direction they're going to take.
Oh, absolutely. You think teams aren't going to be lined up to get Sean Monahan, Johnny Gaudreau, or even Matthew Tkachuk for that matter? I mean, these are really, really good players. Now, again, are they star players? Are they elite players who are going to be the lead your team to a championship? No, I think the Flames are one of those teams that's sort of that lacks that elite level talent. They're not the only team. And guess what? It's a lot easier said than done to acquire Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon or Austin Matthews for that matter, right? Guys like that don't exist on every team in the NHL. But now the Flames are getting to a situation where it's okay, you guys want to prioritize Darryl Sutter? Well, guess what? Now you got to blow up your team and start from scratch. So if I'm a Calgary Flames fan, I wouldn't like that at all. You look at any sport, once you start putting your coach above the great players on your team, Lepore, man, I think you're really, really playing with fire.
Unless it's Belichick.
Yeah, unless you're Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Or even Greg Popovich for that matter.
Sure.
And I mean, even look at the Spurs. I mean, I don't want to start talking about basketball and turn this into a basketball podcast, but they lose Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan retires, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, all those guys move on. And now look at the Spurs. You know, They're not the elite team that they used to be.
Well, he actually always says that. He's like, I wasn't a good coach until I got David Robinson. And he goes on his rant. Like, he admits it. He's like, yeah, it's not me. It's the guys I was provided with, right?
Yeah. So, again, we can go on for days about this, but, just to end this off, Calgary Flames fans, you better be careful what you wish for here, because if you're going to prioritize Darryl Sutter and move into the future with him, and listen, he has a 3-year contract. He's got 2 more years after this. Then man, oh man, you better get ready to lose some of your good players and go through a rebuild, because it's about to get rough there in Calgary.
And how are they not? Okay, now I'm going to say, okay, like we were trying to wrap it.
Lepore,
yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Keep going. What he fucking said about Gaudreau's 500th game, like that one comment about like, oh, I hope it's a lot better than his 499th game. If you're a GM or you're a president, it's like, Darryl, I want to fucking see you in my office, man. Like, what was the benefit of that comment?
Yeah, like what good is going to come out of calling out Johnny Gaudreau?
Now the media is shitting on us. It's embarrassing. It's going to get posted everywhere, and you pissed off Johnny. Like, where are we going with this side? Like, at what point is it a good idea? Oh, you're going to motivate him, Darryl? He's going to play pissed off now? No, now he fucking hates you, and he's annoyed. Now he wants out of here. I hate to break it to you, but all these players in today's NHL are spoiled brats who've never been told anything in their entire life negatively. So no, that's it. You fucked up, Darryl. Like, it's crazy. It's madness.
You know what, Lepore? I'm glad you went there, because listen, we're not inside that Flames locker room. We don't have any inside sources in the Flames organization, but I can't imagine that some of these players enjoy playing for Darryl Sutter.
They fucking hate his guts, man. Dude, imagine if you're a teammate of Gaudreau. Like, what's being said afterwards? Like, did he just say that about Johnny? Like, come on. Like, let's call a spade here.
It's just crazy to me. And like, I just don't understand now what's going on in Calgary, because again, I'll repeat it. Like, you guys had a really good team 2 years ago, #1 seed in the Western Conference with essentially this exact same core. And now all these core players seem kind of pissed off outside of Lindholm, who I believe his ice time has kind of been the same under, from Ward to Sutter, but everyone else is seeing their ice time get slashed. Johnny Gaudreau's playing barely over 17 minutes a night. He was playing over 19 minutes a game under Ward. Matthew Tkachuk, almost 20 minutes a night under Jeff Ward. Now he's down to 15 and change under Darryl Sutter. Like,
get me out of here.
Like, how can any of those core players enjoy what's happening? Your best players have to play the most minutes, be on the ice in the important situations, and produce. And that's all it comes down to. And if you're going to make your best players unhappy, if you're going to start calling them out and making stupid comments that's going to make its rounds on social media, I mean, it's just a bad situation, man. And I actually feel sorry for Flames fans right now. I really do, because like we said earlier in the season, like, this is a team that has good players.
It's a nice team, man.
Like,
the Flames are a fucking nice team.
Lepore, I thought they were going to make the playoffs this year. I had them as a playoff team.
A lot of people had them in the playoffs. If someone had told me at the beginning of the season that the Flames would be fighting it out if near the top of the division, I'd be like, okay. Like, they picked up Markstrom. I mean, again, we've talked about their core. I wouldn't have been surprised at all. It's a nice team.
100%, man. Yeah, man. It's about to get real juicy there in Calgary. And you know what? I'm just going to have my popcorn. I'm going to be enjoying it on the sidelines.
Lots of entertainment, yeah.